Idaho has been building schools the same way since 1889. Voters approve bonds, and property taxpayers foot the bill. For much of that time, making this process more doable is focused on reducing the supermajority requirement set forth in the Idaho Constitution, with calls to reduce the highest election bar in the United States. Well, we're tied with Kentucky. And yes, 66 2/3 is a high bar, but maybe we're asking the wrong question. Maybe we should be asking who has to pay to renovate aging schools or to build new schools? Why does the entire burden fall on property owners when everyone benefits from having adequate school buildings? Maybe the question of school facilities needs to be reframed. Instead of focusing on how school bonds are approved, maybe we should focus on who pays for those facilities. This taxing authority has been no small burden. Between 1996 and 2016, voters in 73 school districts agreed to tax property to the tune of more than $2 billion. The interest that will be paid is almost another $1 billion. That's a lot to ask of property owners. Our current system is also not very efficient. For every dollar spent to renovate or build a school, 50 cents goes to the interest on the bonds. If we didn't borrow to build schools, we could do 50% more school projects. What if everyone helped pay for school buildings? That's what happens in 29 other states. Part of the cost is paid through income and sales tax revenue. What if Idaho took a similar approach? Suppose, like in other states, Idaho created a building construction fund over several years, and after the fund grew over time, the state started matching 50% of the cost of the bonds approved by a supermajority of voters. What would be the result? Well, first, the projects would still be based on what is needed and reasonable because 66 2/3 is still a high bar. Second, the tax rate for bonds would go down by 50%. Think about that. Think about your district's bond levy rate and cut it in half. Multiply that by the average home value in your district. That's real property tax relief. And finally, we'd be more able to meet Idaho's school facility needs. You're probably asking, how much is this going to cost? Well, over the last 20 years, the commitment from the general fund would have been $53 million per year. Sure, that's a lot. But maybe when we answer the question, who should pay for schools? Making this new commitment to school construction and property tax relief is the obvious answer. Many of us have heard, why doesn't growth pay for itself? Idaho is currently the fastest growing state in America. With that growth will come more income and sales tax revenue. Let me tell you what I mean. Idaho's general fund revenue has grown by $599 million since 2016. Committing just a third of that increase in revenue would have created a $200 million fund to begin to pay for half the cost of voter-approved school bonds. What it comes down to is a new commitment to provide adequate schools for our students and to lower taxes for property owners. Lower property taxes, build schools, and keep them safe. Support ISBA Resolution 8, School Construction and Property Tax Relief.